Welcome to the Therapy Dogs Australia podcast. I'm Sam King, owner of Therapy Dogs Australia, psychologist, animal assisted therapist, and accredited dog trainer. With over a decade in the field with my team of dogs, I'm here to share practical advice, honest stories, and expert insights for professional therapy dog handlers, dog trainers, and canine enthusiasts who want to live and work ethically and expertly with their canine co-therapist.
And I'm Max, your co-host, Therapy Dogs Australia's creative lead and passionate dog owner, here to ask questions and bring curiosity as we explore this fascinating industry together.
So, whether you're a seasoned handler or just starting out, this podcast is here as a professional development resource to support you and your dog on your journey throughout this exciting industry.
While chatting to a range of inspiring people about our absolute love of dogs and the power of the human-animal bond. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave us a review to help others find us too.
All right, today we are talking to one of my oldest, bestest friends on the planet, the lovely Chelsea Beegling, who I have brought to the pod because I think we've got a few things to talk about, which will include a little bit about maybe how we met and a little bit of that. But we live on different sides of the world now, and you're very busy doing some pretty cool stuff. And I think that our listeners would be interested to hear like what you've learned on your journey. So do you want to introduce yourself, Chels?
Yes, thank you. So I am first and foremost a psychologist, but I have been in leadership positions and running businesses for the last 10 to 15 years now. So I actually have an occupational therapy business in Brisbane, which I still am very much heavily involved in, even though I live in London. But on the side, well, not so much on the side, something that I've been doing since I've kind of stepped back a little bit from that business is developing a leadership and business coaching business, but at the moment, mainly focusing on leadership development courses for people who either got into leadership positions because they were really good at their technical job. Like you might have been a really good psychologist or teacher or something. And then you get a leadership position and you've never actually had leadership training. So that kind of person, but also because this is my experience in bread and butter, people who have started their own business and maybe you're like a health professional or something like that, but you're not a business person. And that is the kind of challenges that I've had to work through personally over the last 10 to 15 years. And it's really challenging. And we were just chatting slightly before we started recording about all the people that you've got to deal with in that process as well, like the coaches that you work with and consultants and other people who say they're experts and stuff like that. But no one really knows unless they've actually been in this position, like the real challenges that come with it. And being a woman also adds to that as well.
Yeah, well, I spent a good few years working for one of the people that is like a business coach now. And I can tell you right now, you've wasted your money. Whatever that person's selling, because and obviously I can't talk about that too much, but I think
there's
it's
a lot of them out there,
and it's a tricky space to be in, but like to choose to find a business coach or leadership coach or whatever, because it's like I like online, for example, like on Instagram or whatever people are looking at, there's all these people out there that are telling everybody how to live their lives. It's like, okay, cool, but what about, it's hard. It's just hard to make good choices about that stuff, because representing yourself to your audience one way is pretty different to like who these people sometimes actually are. So
there's so much noise out there, and so much noise, and there's so much kind of like pseudoscience. I mean, there's also a lot of good out there, but it's so hard to wade through the noise and know who to listen to. And you look at who the coaches and consultants are, whether they are coaches or consultants in like business, or coaches and consultants in like, life coaching or psychology, or, ADHD coaches and stuff like that. But so many of them, I'm sure that they are trained up, but a lot of them actually don't have professional expertise. It kind of is formed off these unregulated kind of, I don't know, courses. But then also I see business consultants who are like, and I don't like to be ageist or whatever, but who are like 20 years old. And I'm like, you can't possibly have faced the challenges that comes with the experience of going through this process over such a long period of time.
Like 20-year-olds are cool and everything, and that's fine, but they just literally haven't been alive for very long. Like
exactly. Like you just can't have gone through all the problems that we've had to go through.
And maybe you've got cool ideas like when you think of like new problems that pop up or whatever, and that's fine. Like that's cool and everything, but you just haven't been alive very long at all. So, let's consider that too. Okay, so we were in uni together. So we did our degree at the same time, and then you decided to get glandular fever.
That's right.
Was that when we were in third year? Well, had we started third year? Because then you had to.
It was the last year before thesis year. So is that third year?
Yeah, and then because you had to take like the rest of the year off.
Yeah.
And like go and stay at your mum's or whatever, and like just be like incapacitated and
incapacitated totally
just left me. And then because then you're on a different you're in a different program. I was like, this is
because we were so close to the end of the degree, I could only take certain subjects in certain semesters. So even though I only withdrew from a semester, it extended the whole thing by a year. So I ended up in a totally different like honors thesis year program.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But we had a great time at uni. That's how Chelsea got glandular fever. So
your memory is so good. That was the same semester I started drinking tequila as well. So I think correlation was causation in that.
Yeah, we're pretty run down.
Because we were studying so hard.
Yeah, because we're up all night studying. So then
at the red room.
Yeah. Yes. So that's when I met Chelsea. So I think I graduated in 2010.
Yeah, that'd be
you
right.
Must have been
2011.
Yeah. So we've been friends for a long time. So thanks for your continued support in that area.
You're so welcome.
Get a little like a badge or something.
People
get long service badges, like a pin or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we graduated differently, and then when you finished psych, we both did the 4+2 internship, which has been abolished now, abolished. They're abolishing the 5+1. They reckon now too. They just make it absolutely impossible for people. But anyway.
I bet.
I finished and then went full time into my retail job for like a year and a half, trying to get a job, like an internship, and it was the like worst time of my life because I hated it. But I was so sick of being poor.
Yeah,
but I was still poor, obviously, because I was in retail. And then I eventually finally got some jobs and started my internship. And then I found out that you were working at a company that does like OT, like medico-legal assessment stuff. So can you tell us a bit about like what is that?
Yeah, so this is how I got into having an occupational therapy company, even though I'm a psychologist. So same as you, when I left uni, I was just so sick of being poor and I was sick of working a casual job. I worked at Cold Rock in South Bank. I worked all of my weekends and all of the like fun public holidays. I worked Riverfire. God, I hated missing all those fun things. So when I left uni, obviously you leave uni, you can't become a psychologist. No. So I became my job title. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Oh my goodness.
It's 20-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. God help us. So I also went into like a full-time job. My job title was rehabilitation counselor, but that was extremely misleading. That is absolutely not what we were doing. We were doing medico-legal assessments and reporting. We weren't the experts. Also, thank God, we were overseen by the medico-legal experts, but we would do things like review medical briefs and help write reports and stuff like that and help out during the assessment. But yeah, I did that for like 3 years at that particular place until I decided I should actually just go and become a psychologist, like do the 4+2 program, because I'd seen you do it as well, be successful with that. So obviously you were my inspiration.
Thank you.
And
or your muse.
Yeah,
Does that word
exactly.
work?
Yes, you were.
If Sam can do it.
So, yeah. But you really were, though, in a sense that like it was so complicated and the information just didn't seem readily available.
No, it wasn't.
And so have someone go through it, God, it was so helpful having you having gone through it. So, and something about me as well, when I was at uni, people used to be like, what do you want to do? Like, what kind of psychology do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I've never actually wanted to be a psychologist. I just find the subject so interesting. That's why I'm studying it. And so that's also why when I left, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, just see where it takes me. But then I just knew that actually becoming a psychologist would just open so many doors for me. Totally. So I just did that and it did open so many doors. So yeah, that's kind of why I was working for an OT firm and then, went on the 4+2 program.
Because the hardest part, so the reason it took me 1.5 years, the hardest part to start that +2. So for anyone that doesn't know, the 4+2 means your 4-year degree, which is your bachelor's. And then you have to do a +2, which like if you don't go do a master's, if you can't just be a psychologist after the 4 years, that's what Chelsea means. So you have got to do a master's program or like something else.
Some kind of postgrad
to get your actual registration as a psychologist. So, and you can't work as a psychologist unless you're registered. So, and your registration, that's the thing that you can lose. So we had to get jobs. You can't just put your application in and get a provisional registration. You have to get a job first. And then you can put the application in to get your provision. But once you've got your provisional registration, then you can get jobs. Like,
yeah,
so it's
so backwards
thing. Like, imagine if they just let you get a supervisor and then get provisional registration, because the provisional registration paperwork and the process takes time, like ages. So it's really hard, like, for people to get started because you need to get a job. So I finally, and the first job I got was like a huge joke. Like, it was like her clinic was like ended up knowing someone that knew someone that was like, then the clinic director was like, sure, I'll let you like work here. And then there was just zero, like I had no clients, like it was just ridiculous. But that's what I needed to get my provisional registration. But once I had that, I was able to get another job in a high school. And then I volunteered at Headspace for 2 days a week for like ages and ages. And they eventually hired me, ages down the track, as an intake officer. And then I got another job in another private practice. And then, so I think it took me about 2.5 years to do that pathway. But the thing that Chelsea's talking about, so then I started my clinic, but was by happen chance, because I was going to buy a franchise, and then someone else read the contract and was like, don't sign that.
God.
Thank God. You know who you are if you're listening, who read me the contract, was also going to buy one, and then read the contract, and then called me to her house and said, do you know what any of this says? And I was like, no. I'm just going to sign it.
I could read sign here.
So anyway, I already had the space. So I just started Paw. And that's how we got your paperwork done, is because then you work at Paw.
Exactly.
That's how Erin got her paperwork done as well, our other best friend.
Yes, exactly.
Is
that how Amy got hers done as well?
Yep, that's how Amy got her paperwork done. That's how Samuel got his paperwork done.
Exactly.
So there's been a couple that have done the paperwork. So it makes me sad, because I actually truly believe in the pathway.
Yes, same.
You know, so I think
the board is so elitist, if you will.
Like they reckon they're going to make it a 5-year bachelor. They reckon they've proposed all these changes. I don't know if you're around that, but they've proposed some changes recently that sound like it's going to be harder for everyone. But anyway, they think it's going to make it easier, but I don't think so. No. But anyway, we'll see. But so anyway, Chelsea's at Paul for a bit. So Amy is not the Amy that everyone will be thinking of. Amy is other Amy, poor Amy, who I met out at Slickers horse riding. And then she was a uni student then. And then she came to, do you remember you were there the day? So Amy and Chelsea became best friends and are best friends to this day. Like, what's your
her maid
streak?
of honor this year.
Yeah, very. I got invited.
We just passed our we just passed our 5-year snap streak. So.
You know what I'm saying, guys? Like,
I know. It started during the pandemic. Okay, it should actually be about 6 or 7 years, but it did get broken.
It's actually adorable.
Anyway. Yeah.
And you were there the day, Chelsea, because Amy was volunteering, like in admin, and you guys were like sitting on the couch, just, I don't know, mucking around or whatever. And I asked her to do something, and she said to me, "You don't pay me." Do you remember that?
Well, what I do remember is, where do you think she learned that attitude?
I was like, well, this is outrageous.
Yes.
But then I had to pay her.
Then you whipped her into shape, and she's far more resilient because of it.
I was going to say about the like leadership training. I got my leadership training from Amy. She knows this. I tell her this all the time. But because I used to say things to her and then she would just cry. And then I would be like,
You got that data and the metrics, the feedback.
Just a little yardstick,
exactly.
Interesting. Like,
yeah.
Crying. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So let's backtrack. Let's backtrack from there.
Yeah.
And let's try that differently.
Yeah. And look at you now.
And here we are. So
and look at her now as well.
I know, super successful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yes. So now that everyone knows why we're so smart and put together as people.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. While Chelsea was working at the clinic, she was working with a family member of mine's dog. So I had trained the dog, and then Chelsea would work with her doing animal-assisted therapy with our little kids and teens, mostly kids, teens, and some adults. It would have been for a couple of years. Back when we were doing paper note taking.
Yep.
Paper files. Yeah. So Chelsea's knows all about animals. This is years ago. Like, I
know. I
don't even know.
Yeah. I know that I got my provisional registration right at the end of 2014, like literally 31st of December. It was like New Year's Eve.
Well, that's ridiculous.
I know. And then I think I started at POR like shortly thereafter. So it must be like 12 years ago, which is wild. But then I was there, for like 2 or 3 years or something like that. I reckon it must have been at least 3 years, because I worked there when I was fully registered as well. So anyway, something like that.
So years and years ago, back when animal-assisted therapy was like not really a thing, like it was not very well known. So then you went and did. So then you went, because you got given that position. It was a leadership position at the OT at the medico-legal.
Yes. So I moved to a different OT medico-legal firm, and that's where I then started in management positions. And I think my first title was like operations manager or something like that. And that's where my, I guess, professional leadership journey began. And again, that was because I was good at my technical job, and I have an amazing boss. Well, I still call her my boss. We're more like business partners now. But, she gave me so many opportunities, but also she put me into a position because I was good at my job, but I didn't have any leadership training. So really had to figure that one out.
Did you just accidentally make people cry and then learn that's not how you should talk to people?
Yeah, especially because in my previous job, my boss there was pretty toxic, like managed through fear and favoritism. Like, you have to get into the inner circle, and you can play the game for that, and you can, you can play the game, but it's very exhausting. Anyway, it just meant that I had inherited like kind of bad leadership habits, or hadn't had a good leadership mentor. And even though I had an amazing mentor at the new company, it wasn't kind of like readily available. It's not like I was put into the leadership position, you know, like I didn't have the years of like kind of build up to it. So yeah, it was really kind of, I felt like I was so bad at it when I first started, because I was just like, I had no empathy, and I was a psychologist. Like I just struggled with empathy. I was like, but why can't you do it? They're like, I need time off. I'm like, but you need to do the work, you know, like that kind of mindset. And I could see myself doing it. I had the insight, and I'm like, I know I don't want to be like this, but I don't know how to be the good, like a good leader, but also get good results. So I really had to like come from one end of the spectrum to the other, which was a long journey. But that's why I went on such a journey. But that really was when it started. And I feel like I started from like a negative, not even a good baseline.
What was that you said, like fear and the other manager? Because I remember who you're talking about now. Fear and what was it?
Fear and favoritism.
My God, that is exactly how my other boss was.
Yeah.
That was exactly her strategy. Now that you say that, like,
yeah. Yes.
Because I will play that game 100%.
Yeah.
I will play that game. And I was absolutely the favorite. Like I will get into every clique. Like if I want to be in the clique, I'm in the clique.
Yes.
Like,
yes, exactly.
I will play that game. But it's not good.
No, it's not good, but it's also fun. I mean, I wouldn't do it now, but you know, back then, like early mid 20s, we were also smart enough to know that we were participating, you know, to be like, this is, okay. You want to play this game, like totally. And you can easily feed into it, which is somewhat satisfying, but it's not sustainable. And because you're literally just like,
they'll turn on you. That there's no relationship.
100%.
They will turn on you.
100%.
There's
in a second.
Like you even, and that's where I think people end up feeling so dissatisfied with their workplaces, is because they've produced like all this performance or whatever, and they're like thinking that their leadership like values them, but the second that they need something or don't perform or whatever, oh my God, they get thrown in the bin. Like you're in the bin, you know. And that is like horrible if people don't, like if they, especially if they haven't realized like that's how it works here, you know.
Exactly. Like,
that makes so much sense. You just said that, because I've thought about fear before, but I actually haven't really thought about the concept of favoritism as like a strategy and a tool that people would actually use to try and manipulate, like little people like me who are like, well, I'm not going to be left out, like, so I'll do whatever to be included.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
I've grown out of that, obviously.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Have
I grown out?
You've matured.
Because I feel I very much swung the other way. So, because like Chelsea was saying, like I have got zero business. I have two companies. There's no budget. I don't have a budget for either. Like there's no KPIs for either. There's no, like, they're not run like businesses at all. Like they just exist. And and I just try to be really nice to my staff and like all the workers, because
not make them cry
anymore, because it's so awkward. And you have to apologize, so, which I still have to do from time to time to people, but I've had a lot of growth over the years. So if anyone that knows me now that thinks like, just if you knew me 15 years ago, you would know I've had a lot of growth. Actually.
She has.
Thank you, Chelsea. So have you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've definitely gone the other way, and I like my strategy now, which is loosely assume the best in every scenario, and just let everyone do whatever they want. Like I just never say no to anyone ever.
That's a strategy.
That's my strategy. And then when like whenever like if anything happens, because sometimes things I'm very lucky, very lucky. I haven't always had good teams. I've had some challenges in like the earlier years, especially at the clinic. But oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. Like
It makes
far out.
every single difference in the world.
But
Totally.
you honestly, like you just have to that's why I just let them do whatever they want. As long as the one rule is that we provide a good service. Like that's the rule, is that we provide a good service. And then they just do whatever. And I remember being even because you're in private practice, like I've got contractors in private practice, right? So they're actually, it is the law that they do whatever they want.
Yes.
Actually the law. But lots of private practices don't run that way. They run a very different way. And I just don't understand how that's even a thing that happens. But I know it's hard to run. It's actually hard to run a business with people everywhere doing whatever. But well, I don't really know because I just wake up every day and go, how we going? Still alive?
You've always thrived through chaos.
Yeah, so probably just won't do anything about anything until something happens, and I'll be like, whoa. Like I think they're trying to sell our building that the clinic's in.
Oh no.
I know. I'm like, who's going to buy this dump? But probably developers. But they're trying to buy this, like I get all town gossips in Redcliffe from the ladies at Loot downstairs, because I was like, they're not going to, like, if they're going to develop it, because we're on the waterfront, but like on the back of the street. So to develop it, because they're developing like other parts have been bought and are being turned into like high rises. So they would have to buy Loot. Like there's two buildings, like and they're owned by different people. So I just go down to the Loot ladies and I'm like, what's going on? But they reckon their owner's not going to sell. So that'll slow things down. But I think someone will buy our building and then just hang on to it and wait.
Yeah.
You know, which should be fine unless we get a landlord that's a real pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Because our real estate largely leaves us alone. Like we just do it. Yeah.
Oh, that would be annoying.
I know. I was like, can I be bothered moving all this stuff to somewhere else? Like, no. Like, especially like the first however many years of that clinic, like everything that is in there, because it's on the first floor, it's only stairs. Every single thing that is in there because I carried it up those stairs.
Yeah.
Like, And if you think I'm carrying all that shit back down the stairs, you got another thing coming.
And you've been there for so long that's like 15 years worth of accumulated stuff being carried up there.
Literally. Like, no, thank you. Anyway, so I think that people can resonate with so a lot of our listeners, so we've got a bit of a range. So we've got dog trainers as well that are listening to our podcast, who are also in the same boat, where you love dogs, you love learning to communicate with dogs, you start training them, you love that. Oh, okay, I want to be a dog trainer. Oh, hang on, that means that I need to learn how to communicate with human beings because they own the bloody dogs. So now you got to become a human educator, so that because you're actually educating that human to how to train their dog is what being a dog trainer is largely about. And then you maybe get kind of good at that, and then all of a sudden you start your own dog training business, and now you're also a business owner who just has no idea, like, why would you be? I used to tease the people at uni that were doing business as a degree, because I used to be like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, that's what do you do? Because I'm thinking, you do psychology, you become a psychologist. Business, you do business, man. What the hell is that? Like, it's nothing. You guys are idiots. Like, what are you doing? One piece of advice that I give to all of my young people, especially if they don't know what they're doing at uni, I'm like, do business. Do some business subjects. Sam on the old flippity flop. So life experience and the flippity flop, mate. Because not only is like whatever you go into, and I say the same thing that you're just explaining to us, whatever you go into, if you're good at it, you'll probably be running a business. So and then like no idea. Like, no, you got no idea. But I also learned, becoming a grown up on my journey, your life is a business. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even just running your life, like life admin.
Yes.
Like, I don't,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't even do
Yes.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's important. And then we've got everyone that's working in like health and education, all of our handlers that are working in
Mm.
that space as well. So that's a really tricky space to then, like you say, like I'm a speechy, oh, now I'm a business owner. I'm
Mm.
a teacher, oh,
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
now started a business doing animal assisted education, whatever. We've
Yeah.
also got all of our other teams that are like our
Mm.
community teams who their job is therapy dog handler. So
Yeah.
they're going in and doing like diamond model stuff where
Yeah.
it's like they're
Yeah.
taking their dogs into the facilities and are offering whatever, and they're creating businesses doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, what like
Yeah. Yeah.
how are they
Yeah.
supposed to figure all that out?
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's not very, it can be a bit lonely, like especially if you're a sole trader.
Totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And that is so much of what like the kind of leadership that I teach is based around not just the actual business, it's also you. In fact, in the course that I'm developing, the first part of it is all inner work. It's all about you. It doesn't start with like, this is how you be a leader. It actually starts with you. Because just like you were saying, like your life is kind of a business as well. And if you start a business, you'll be able to get so far because you're good at your job and you know so much. But then where are you going with that business? But equally, where are you going in your life? As in like what direction, what are you striving for? What are you trying to achieve? Like, yeah, you want to have the business, but is that going to align with your actual life? Like what you actually want? Because the thing is that the business should serve you. You shouldn't be serving the business, which is how you kind of end up being like a servant to the business. But if you start a business, it should be the opposite. So you have to start with you first. And so that's what I teach. It focuses on like also separating your identity from who you are versus what you are. Because the other thing that we tend to do, especially if I think this is so common in people who become leaders or business owners, because you're already so good at your technical job, chances are like you've got high personal standards. You might be a little bit perfectionist or something like that. And I was totally this person. I tied a lot of my worth to my role and my identity to my role. But you really have to separate that from being, it's not who you are. Like that is what you are. You are a leader. You are a business owner. But if you tie your personal worth to all of those things that are associated with that, like, like, oh, I didn't hit a KPI, like that means I'm worthless type thing, it's going to be so much more of a challenge for you to operate a business, be in a leadership role or whatever, if you're always tying who you are to what you are. So that's also kind of what I teach as well. And like I work through with people how to actually separate those things because it's hard. And it doesn't mean that you don't take things harshly. Like absolutely. Like, I'm having, difficulties in the occupational therapy business at the moment. Like I'm stressed, like it weighs down on me, but it's not a reflection of me personally. And a lot of people do have to work through that. I had to work through it because otherwise you just end up feeling like you're the problem all the time, or like you feel a little bit worthless or something because you're like, oh, this isn't working, that's my fault or something. So
Is everyone at your work angry at you, Charles?
Yeah, I know, I'm making them cry.
We've grown out of that.
No, never. But they probably are angry at me. Oh my God.
Does everybody hate me?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's so like it's all very personal leadership and business ownership to start with. You've got to kind of work through so many things to do with that before you even touch the kind of more outward facing leadership stuff.
I just don't know how I would really even separate those things though, because really it's Sam that gets me in trouble all the time. And I don't know if she should be at work.
Yeah. Well, that's
So how?
fine. You
So
you've personified a different version of yourself. That sounds kind of healthy.
Drag sort of. Maybe it's like a type of compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you think that like working from home is making it harder to separate those things? Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I guess
Maybe because I'm like, I don't know if that's like leaking into like, because I'm just thinking, but my like also my personality is a big part of like
yeah,
my work as well, you know?
it is.
And lots
Yeah.
of people don't like my personality.
Well, that's their problem and it's not yours.
Maybe not once.
I feel like, well, like, I guess when I think about working from home, when I started working from home, I guess I'd already done so much of the work to separate myself. And so for me personally, when I started working from home, like I thrived because I had the compartmentalization to just focus on my job. And even though now, like I am still home full time because I'm still working for my Australian company and I live in London. And like my partner, Dan, he shares this room with me as his office. We are both from home full time.
I could
But
never do that.
it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Get out.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like I've already worked through enough for me personally for it not to be an issue. But I can see how other people would become very absorbed. I have to be very conscious about separating my work and my personal life. Like this room is fully associated with work, you know, and I don't even like to see my laptop when I'm, you know, it's a weekend or I'm, you know, actively having time off. So I think even though I say, oh, it's not that big a problem for me, I think I really consciously make an effort to draw those boundaries for myself.
You've just got good
because
habits already.
Yeah, but it took a long time to get there because I went through serious periods of burnout, like insane periods of burnout. So I've had to do so much work to, really separate those parts of my life, not just like physically, but also the whole identity piece as well.
Because we're also bringing like this is the thing, like that's like my dog that I'm working with, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
people are bringing their own dog that they've trained into their work role as well. So that's pretty hard, really. Like, if you're thinking,
Definitely.
and I think there's a gray area there for certainly like our registered health providers where we're not really supposed to bring like personal stuff to
Mm.
this space, but we're bringing our like soulmate in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah. Totally.
I wonder if I have a feeling that I'd want to do some market research on this, but I don't know how. But I have a feeling that there's quite a high dropout rate of animal assisted therapists, which I can kind of gauge by the number of dogs we train and initially assess versus like the names that I see popping up every year.
Yeah.
Or even just the number of assessments, which I would have no idea how many we do, but because I don't really count stuff. But we is absolutely not reassessing every team every year.
Yeah.
So either the teams aren't reassessing or there's been like a dropout. So I'd be interested
Yeah.
to know, like, I don't know how to like do like a survey or
Yeah.
whatever, but
Yeah.
I actually think that a part of the burnout, a part of that will be burnout, and it will be burnout from like the pressure involved in taking your dog into your workplace because all that stuff we were just talking about, like leadership stuff, like that, and then you've brought your favorite
Yeah.
little soulmate into that
Yes.
environment.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably complicates stuff for some people.
Absolutely. And I know animal assisted therapists who have worked with their dog for a really long time and then they've changed jobs and maybe they took their dog in for like 1 or 2 days a week and then they've changed jobs again and they're like, I'm not even taking my dog in at all. You know, they're still operating as the health professional, and part of that has come with so much of the they're giving so much of themselves, which
Mm.
is, and, their dog is an extension of them, as well as all the, there's so much stress in keeping underlying, like subconscious stress, and constantly keeping your dog safe. You're always doing it's such a higher cognitive load being animal assistant therapist, because you're not just working with your client, you're doing 110% monitoring the entire time of everything that's going on. So yeah, I can see how that would be really exhausting. On the flip side, you have your dog at work. So like, I mean, God, they're the best little, like, after you've had a stressful session, the best animal to have there with you, to just lie down with, hang out with, and it like brings your own stress and anxiety down. But I think it's a real balancing act, and you've got to be so conscious in managing all of this, your personal boundaries, your boundaries with your dog, like all of that. You have to be really intentional with every single part of it, and even giving yourself days where you're not taking your dog in, or if you want it to be sustainable. And I am all about sustainable success, and whatever you define as success as, it needs to be sustainable. Otherwise, the alternative is probably intermittent periods of burning out.
Especially like for the teams that we have that are creating a business, which I did create 2 businesses around your dog. Like, we've got teams that are doing that, and it'll be like Sam's pet therapy visits or whatever, and you got your shirt, sticker on your car, and you got your dog, and now your whole thing is around like you, but like largely around the dog. So there's like this. So you talk about like when hobbies become a job, we call it a jobby. When you give yourself a jobby, there's like I feel like a stage of grief, I feel, around losing your hobby, like, because it was something that was like for you and special, and like I know there are people that have stopped taking their dogs because they didn't want to share them anymore. And I think there's people that are, like, because now that it's a jobby, it's like,
I feel like if I went into any kind of animal assisted practice again, because I need my boundaries to be so tangible, I almost feel like I would need to have a dog who was my therapy dog, but then I would need my own personal dog who I don't share with anyone, which is tough because, then I go to work and I don't have that dog with me. But I don't know. I feel like I was saying before about the association, like I can't even look at my laptop on the weekend because I will start thinking about work.
Yeah.
And I know it's so different because, you've got such a strong bond. But yeah, I almost feel like that's what I would have to do, is have my own personal dog that no one gets to, share.
It definitely puts like some stress on like the management of your dog, because you're not just managing your dog for like, you love your dog and you want them to be happy and safe. You're managing your dog so that your dog remains suitable to work in a therapy dog role ongoing, because there are potentially hundreds of people who will be impacted if it doesn't. So like an example of managing your dog. So if something bad happens, so you go down to the park and an off-lead dog runs up and tries to attack your dog, you're in that moment, you're obviously like, get away, like I'm protecting my dog. But straight after that's like neutralized, your very next thought is this going to impact their career? Because are they going to develop some kind of aversion to whatever? Is it going to impact their career? And I think that's just another layer of, and it's like if you go for it down to the cafe and you drop your laptop, do you know what I mean? If laptops couldn't be backed up or whatever. And then it's like all of a sudden, if you had to carry that laptop with you everywhere all the time, that you had fun places out to music festivals.
And then the next layer of that is on your practice with your clients as well. Because then you're like, say your dog got injured or something. You're like, well, great. Is this going to send some of my clients backwards if my dog can't come in for the next month or something? Literally. Or can they never come back in, So there's several layers there that does make it more challenging for sure.
Okay, guys, we're probably not going to be able to keep working with our dogs.
Not at all. Not at all. You're just going to be intentional about everything.
Okay. So what does that mean? Being intentional about how do I do that?
So I think that goes back to the personal piece about being really clear on, to me, it's always an endpoint. Like, what is like your overall vision or direction, and you work backwards from there. So, if you are working with your dog, do you want, like, what's the plan? Like, do you want to keep doing that for the next 10, 20, 30 years? Maybe that's not the plan. Maybe your plan is in a few years you're going to pivot to something else, or maybe start a different business or something like that. That will depend, that will make the difference as to like how you work with your dog. Like, how do you make it sustainable? Does that mean that you need more dogs, to kind of spread it out? Does it mean that you need to only go in less days with your dog or something like that? Like, yeah, but having an actual plan, but it's heading towards something. Because if you're not heading towards something, you're kind of just like figuring it out as you go along, which is okay for a time. But again, that's when things get messy, because you end up somewhere 5 years down the track and you're like, actually, this is really hard. I hadn't really thought about this. If I'd thought about it 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah.
So it's just really thinking about the bigger picture to figure out what's appropriate for now for me to get to where I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've actually just started thinking about that recently, because sometimes I walk around my house and I'm like, did I need all these animals?
It's a commitment.
Did I need to commit to all of these animals and then never leave my house again? The answer is still yes, but I've started to think about like what that's going to look like, because I'm 38, turning 39. So, and so I'm starting to think about now like the lifespan of my animals, because I'm thinking about like, okay, so back when I started buying these animals was not this old.
Which also took about 2 seconds of decision making, if I remember correctly, for almost every one of them.
Classic.
So you're like, I'm gonna buy a horse. I'm like, okay. And then you bought a farm and a horse.
Because what happened, remember, I applied to buy that house, my first house. And then I just didn't know how it worked. So then I straight away bought a horse. But I didn't realize like you have to like get finance approved, and it has to like settle and so the mortgage broker, I was like, I've already bought a horse.
So the house must.
He had daughters. He's the greatest. If anyone wants to know an awesome mortgage broker, friggin' hit me up, because he is actually the greatest. And I was like, I've already bought a horse though. And so I didn't realize that all of this was still, he's like, okay. Literally worked a miracle for me to be approved, because I was single and a contract, like self-employed, single. Like there's no mortgage for you.
No doc loan.
That's not, literally. But anyway, he made it happen.
I learned that term from that exact thing. That exact situation.
So anyway, that is how I got my first horse. But it's a good time. I still have him. So he's going strong. And I think that's good. Costs me to feed him what it costs to feed 4 Brumbies, but that's okay. Thoroughbreds. I forgot what I was talking about.
So you're thinking about direction.
Like, like what am I going to do? Because I'm going to die eventually. And who's going to feed all these animals? I'm going to have to like get a will that says someone has to feed all these animals. I don't know.
But you're probably going to outlive the current animals. So
some of them.
What's like, are you just going to keep accumulating them? Like, what's the end goal?
That's what I'm thinking, is like, we just got to stop buying animals now, because I'm going to get older.
Well, like, it depends what your vision is.
But maybe I could just like start living a healthy lifestyle and get fit, and I'll just live long.
I think the farm keeps you pretty fit.
These are just all the thoughts that I'm having about my future plan. Like maybe I just
exactly.
I think it's good.
But like yeah, so like for example, you like if I had a farm, it would make it very difficult for me to live overseas, which is why as much as I would love to live on a farm or even just have a dog, oh my God, I'm not clocky for children, I'm clocky for a dog. But I like part of my vision at the moment is traveling and stuff like that. So, it makes a difference. And I which means that when I've had the impulsive decisions to be like, I just want to buy that puppy, I'm directed by the vision that I've already thought about, Not that there's any wrong or right direction or vision or anything like that. It's just about, it makes your decisions more intentional and has already been some forethought gone into it. Whatever the decision is, because does it align with where you're going?
What I liked that you said before is that your business needs to work for you and like think
Yes.
about. So I have that conversation a lot with my young people over when they're trying to think about like what they want to be when they grow up. I always talk to them about like what do you want your life to look like? Like I'm not as interested in what you choosing your occupation. I'm interested in like what do you want your life to look like? Because that is going to cut out so much stuff. So like, for example, you probably shouldn't be a nurse if you don't want to do shift work, for example. Like paramedics in Queensland do 4 days on, 4 days off, 4 days on, 4 days off, 4 days on. So if you want to play for a touch football team, you can't because your schedule is not the same as like, whereas FIFO, they often like, they can be week on, week off, week on, week off, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. You know what I mean? So if you think about what you want your life to actually look like, do you want to work in an office or do you want to be outside? Like, do you want to, that sort of stuff, like first before we start thinking about, okay, well, what are the types of jobs that work outside?
Yeah, exactly. And when I teach people about vision, I teach them not just to have milestones, which is exactly what you're saying. It's not just, well, what job do I want to do? Like, if you want to achieve a job, you're probably going to get that job. You can work towards it. But like, people often go like, oh, I want a house and I want a dog or a family or I want to travel or live in a destination. That's fine, but they're all milestones. And it is more about what do you want your life to look like? You want it to have like this kind of like emotive, visceral reaction in you to be like, that is what I want. Like my vision doesn't really have anything to do with the milestones. That's kind of like falls in around it, but it's more about how I want my life to feel and how I am living and who I am when I have that life or whatever, or in the journey toward that life as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's hard. It's because it's kind of abstract, like when you're first talking about it, because we're so much more conditioned to be like, I want the house and to get married and to live here and to have these animals or children or whatever. So but I actually have a whole, if that resonates with anyone, I actually have a whole vision discovery template for free in my link in bio in my Elevarium official Instagram. And it kind of helps you work through that, because I find that when I have been working with people, like through like coaching sessions, that's one of the challenging things to grasp is like, how do you actually figure out your personal vision and moving away from just milestones that you're going to tick off. So if anyone wants to work through that, they can find that, in the link in bio on my Instagram, personal vision discovery template.
Just spell it now so that if anyone just wants to stop what they're doing and look right now. I know we're going to put it in our show notes.
Yes. So Elevarium is ELEVAREUM. And it's Elevarium official. Do you want me to spell it slower?
No, it's fine. Look it up
ELEVAREUM. I even had to write that down to slow down.
What does Elevarium mean?
I'm so glad that you asked because it's not just a pretty word. Elevarium is made up of, the first half comes from elevate, and the second half, which is the elevate. Rium means like, you can think of it as like a forum or even a museum or something. It's somewhere where you go to learn. So it's all about education that elevates you.
I like it. Did you make that up? That word?
Thank you.
Is that a real word?
No, it's not a real word. I
Oh.
made it up. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I feel like I'm
I
talking to a
know.
famous person right now.
No,
Making
no.
up words. Hell
And
yeah.
the .com was available. So thank you.
It's because it's a made up word.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Of course it's a made up word.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that because that's a funny concept for me to think about because I just haven't thought. Do you know what's happened to me? This is what I reckon has happened to me. I've reached my goal.
Yeah. I've been there.
So
Totally.
maybe that's actually what's happened is that I've like, and now I'm like,
Yeah. And doesn't it feel a little bit lackluster? Like you're like,
oh,
now what?
now what?
That's exactly when I had to
What the
start
hell?
really doing this work on myself.
Am I going to have a mental breakdown when we hang up?
You achieve all these things and then you're like, oh, okay,
here.
now what? And
am I going to be able to sleep? Do you have like everyone has to go to Chelsea's Instagram. She's been doing Instagram stuff on there, which is I love it. You're very good at it. Well done. I think that's like I'm very impressed when people could do stuff like that. Whenever I just see like a normal Instagram reel, I forget it's a person. I forget that's a real person because I'm like, just think of all these people are actors. Like they're just professional, but they're just normal people just doing like funny stuff or like whatever.
Yeah.
And yours is very good. Like that's very good.
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
Thanks. I enjoy the funny ones.
It's very entertaining. It's entertaining and informational.
Yeah.
Educational.
Educational. Yeah. I get it.
Everyone's making up words.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to have a little mentee bee because
you can do my personal vision discovery.
Yeah, I'm going to have to because I don't really understand that concept yet. So,
yeah.
But as you're explaining and I'm thinking, okay, but so I just thought milestones were like that's what you're doing. But now that you've said that, I'm like, this is interesting. And that kind of relates to like what I was saying just before about sort of started thinking about, well, what am I going to do in like 20 years time from now? Because a lot of animals that you buy or own or whatever, they live for like 10 to 30 years. Like horses can live for 30 years. Like Power's like 25. 27. He's 27.
Yeah.
And I've got Brumbies that are 4 years old, you know, so they might outlive me.
You're locked in.
Oh, I nearly bought a macaw the other day because one of my teenagers that I see wanted to get a macaw and his parents wouldn't let him. And I was like, you can't get a macaw. They're so expensive. And then I looked on Gumtree and they are not that expensive. And I was like, should I get a macaw?
Oh my God.
And then I messaged someone on there that had a macaw for sale. They had two. And I was like, how much are these really? And then I didn't buy it.
Oh, good.
I don't even believe in captive birds. So I don't know why I was doing that. But anyway. I was like, they were already in a cage. So yeah, maybe that's a bit of the issue is that like I just all I wanted was to live on a little farm with my dogs and horses and chickens and
you know. Yeah. But you're already teaching the concept a lot, like you said, with your young clients where, you know, you're already teaching it. How do you want your life to look? But it gets a lot more personal when you actually start thinking about that for yourself. And it's also, you know, it's a different picture when you're working with young people as well. Like, you know, you've already achieved so much. So it is more like, okay, well, what are my goals now? What's my vision now?
That's what I mean by like, maybe that's why I've been started thinking about it because I like don't know like now what, you know what I mean? Like because I've decided I'm not buying more animals. Do you know, like do you know what I mean? So I'm like, well,
wow, good. Wow.
Then why am I doing any of this shit? So the only reason I had a job is so I could buy animals.
Yeah.
I gotta feed them, I suppose, but yeah. And house them. Although Kiki's I'm gonna find out in a week and a half if Kiki's pregnant. So my livestock guardian dog.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very excited.
Oh wow. That's intentional.
Yeah, obviously. So well, it depends what puppies come out, but
had you planned on not having her desexed?
Yeah, so she's been leased by a
Okay, yeah.
breeder.
Oh,
It's actually really sad. This breeder who's like a really nice guy. When I got Kiki, because I contacted him when I was looking for one of these dogs, he didn't have any. Put me onto my breeder that I bought Kiki from. Well, the Anatolian breeder, like there's a number. They're all friends and stuff. It's a really nice little community.
yeah,
But
yeah.
ever since then, he's like been my friend on Facebook and stuff, and just comments on everything I post of her. Like just loves these dogs. Like just such a
Yeah.
nice guy. Like so encouraging and everything. Anyway, at the beginning of the year, two of his bitches were bitten by a brown snake, and he lost them both.
Oh
I
God.
know, which is obviously tragic to lose two dogs, but also for his breeding program, like
Yeah.
devastating.
Oh.
And there's like sweet FA Anatolian breeders, like
Yeah.
in
I
Australia.
bet.
Well, Kiki's from New Zealand.
Yeah, I remember.
So anyway, she came into season. She hadn't had a heat. And so he contacted me.
Yeah.
He's always sort of suggested, like, if you ever want to breed her, let me know. And then
Yeah.
I'd always had it on the back burner, but I wanted to make sure that I was like happy with her, like
Yeah.
develop who
Yeah.
she, because you're not going to know
Yeah.
until they're a certain age of who they are.
Yeah.
And then she came into season, and I was like, she's in season, and then all the wheels started rolling up. My breeder and him, when everyone's working together, and I'm just like learning all this stuff. And anyway, so we find out, what day is it? Thursday. We find out in 10 days or whatever that whether or not she has her ultrasound. So that's going to be, so like anyone who knows me even a little bit knows that I do constantly make my own life more difficult with various adventures.
You kept busy with all your side quests.
All these side quests, just one after the other, which, I like that. Like, I think I'd like to be under that, like, I don't know if it's like stimulating. I don't know what it is.
That's what I mean. You thrive in chaos, always, and that's fine. I couldn't do that, but you thrive in it.
I don't know. Like, I think people have their own versions of it. Like, you know what I mean? Because I actually coast quite a lot. So
yeah,
then chaos will happen, and I'll get like stressed. And I'm better at handling stress now. Like, I used to just like have breakdowns over like all sorts of stuff, of like especially to do with the animals. But I'm heaps better at that now, and so I'm better with like I can be stressed and be like this is what's gonna happen, this sort of stuff. But then also like handle it better, like it doesn't unravel me, or cause problems in other areas of my life. So anyway, I don't know if I've really thought it through fully, but because I don't know, I'm gonna have to take some time off work. These puppies.
Oh, for the puppies, yeah.
And you have them for 8 weeks.
yeah.
So I'm lucky I work from home 3 days a week, but like I don't know what that's gonna look like. But I'm just not worrying about it yet until I have the ultrasound.
Yeah, totally.
And then I've got 4 weeks to prepare. So
yeah. Oh my God, only 4 weeks?
So they're only pregnant for 60 days. Can you believe that? I literally messaged a breeder about that the other day. So she did AI. So you get that done. You go back to the vet in 4 weeks' time, which will be Monday week. And then you get an ultrasound. This whole process is super expensive. You get an ultrasound to find out whether or not you're pregnant. And then they are born 4 weeks later. Pretty much.
God, that's so stressful. That's so much happening.
What the hell? Like even goats are pregnant for 5 months.
Yeah.
Horses are 11 months. Humans are 9 months. Like, on what planet are you growing in 60 days?
And not just one,
multiple.
Like several.
I think that's why they come out, they can't see and they can't hear or whatever, because they're like, they've only been in there for 5 minutes. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Hell?
That's wild.
Anyway, I think you've got to like supervise them pretty closely when they're little, so they don't like. I think you've got to like weigh them every day. You've got to like swap them around.
Hey.
Yeah. And then you got to.
I mean, I'm thinking you've had so many dogs and you've had a foal, but I can't believe you've never had a litter.
Well, my dog that I had when I was a teenager had 3 litters because she wasn't D6.
Oh, okay.
We were
yeah.
And you know,
that's good.
you know all
Okay, that's
about
good.
my primary caregiver at that time. So
Yeah,
the dog
yeah.
wasn't D-sex.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I whelped those puppies, but I was like 13, 14.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I've had some experience, but like nothing like, obviously, like
Nothing responsible.
Yeah, like I'm grown up and I'm taking things pretty seriously. So
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that sort of thing, like it's got me, at least I've got something to, focus on for the next little while, but I'm definitely going to be thinking about what do I want my life to look like? I don't know if you remember. So one of the girls that used to work for us at TDA, Caitlin, who some of you might remember, she would come up with like ideas all the time, which is great for stuff. And one of her ideas all the time was, not all the time, but a couple of times, was to like start doing like classes and stuff, like dog training classes on the weekends. And I always was like, nah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Nah. And she's like, she'd be like, oh, like she would run them. And I was like, no, you won't though. Like, that's the thing, is that you think, and I would love nothing more than to offer that, because I actually really enjoy working with people with their dogs. And I know that it would be so beneficial, but I just cannot give my weekends away like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I thought you made me think of that when I was like, your business got to work for you. Like, you've got to think about what you want your life to look like. And my weekends are pretty important to me. Like when you say like not look at your laptop, I know for a fact if something's not done by early, like mid afternoon on Friday, good luck hearing from me before midday on Monday. Like and I tell myself I've got to work this weekend, but I don't do it.
Oh God. Yeah, no. I used to actually, part of the reason that aside from vision, I also teach a lot about like why and purpose and things like that, like finding real purpose in your work and what you do. Part of my purpose was driven by anger, that people would like almost be like, oh, you don't work weekends? Like, you don't work overtime? Like, you mustn't be working very hard. And I'm like, first of all, you don't know how many weekends and how many hours I used to do. And I have now designed my life very smartly to not have to do those things. And now I teach other people that, because it pisses me off when you have to wear this like kind of overworked exhaustion as that's your sign of success. And you're like, oh my God, you work so hard. I don't want that for me. That is not part of my vision. That is not part of my life. I did that when I was younger, when I didn't know any better. And I can do that if I need to. I can absolutely step in and turn that machine on if I need to, but it's in a sustainable way, because I know it'll only be temporary. And having those boundaries is so important. And I can never convey that importance enough, but it's so hard to implement. Like, it's so hard to get people to implement, because you're the only person who can do it. So it's good that, that's something that you've always been strong on, and, that you don't give up, because that is just, that's part of it. That's part of, what you want your life to look like. And, that part makes up part of your vision and things like that. So that's good. It's a good example.
Yeah, I worked weekends as well. Like, obviously when you're younger, like you just do whatever, and you're interning and all, like you just do whatever you have to do. Like, you know, like, we worked in retail. Like, you're working Boxing Day. Like, So I think that's a really cool thing for you to point out for people, is that like that external validation from other people of like, feeling like you have to sacrifice all of yourself for your job, just for people to think that you are like trying hard and like not lazy.
Totally. That's like, almost like an unofficial motto of mine, is that like, not only am I like trying to teach sustainable success, but success without sacrifice, because you can succeed without that. So many of us do. And that's when you are serving the business, or, you're serving a job and not the other way around.
Have you done much work with mums?
It's something that I think about a lot, and I do work with mums in some of my other businesses. And I think that that is also my sister as well. Like, oh God, I speak to her so much. It's so challenging.
Like, how do they do
Um,
it?
I don't know. I don't
Like,
know.
I just actually can't comprehend it. The older
Yeah.
I get, the more I'm like, how are these bitches alive?
Yeah. I know. I know. You're all another unbelievable echelon.
I don't know. I just don't get, I don't know.
Yeah. But it does, yeah, it like the when I have spoken with mums about the same kind of things, it always comes back to all the exact same points, but it does just add another layer of challenge in finding that balance. And when you have the vision and the purpose, it makes things a bit easier as well. It
Mm,
might not feel like that in the moment, but because you know that there is a point to what you're doing, there's a purpose to it, and you know it's towards this greater good of something that
mm,
you're working towards, it helps you keep moving even when you have the setbacks.
yeah.
Also, your purpose can literally be your children. Like
Yeah.
if that is your number one priority, then that's fine. For some people who are mums, their purpose might be something different. Obviously, your children always have a priority in your life, but you can be more than just a mother to your children. So, yeah, having those bigger, doing the inner work on yourself in terms of your vision and your purpose and things like that does help. But yeah, parenting will always add another insane challenge.
Yeah. I was just thinking about like the guilt thing, like,
Mm,
feeling lazy or people thinking you're late, worrying that people think you're lazy or like feeling guilty that you're not working or you're taking a break or you take a day
mm-hmm,
off or
mm,
I really should be doing this but I'm freaking
mm,
whatever. i
mm,
I bet mums get it from both sides, like i just
definitely.
I don't even know how women are just so strong. That's the thing, women are just
Absolutely. And resilient. And what did I hear the other day? I mean, it's a common thing about like how like society has not no evolution hasn't caught up to society or
oh
one of those
yeah.
directions. Just about how, like evolution is still in the whole like housewife era, and it will be for God knows how long, but society hasn't quite caught up to actually being able to support women. If you like, if it's not like, people need to understand that equality isn't just like the same, it's
Mm,
like the same, but you also need to provide the support to get to this level. Like people are saying things like, oh, but women aren't as good at certain things or something, as men. It's like, yeah, because men have had the support to do it forever, their whole life to become, I don't know, the greatest trader or athlete or something in the world. They've had every single opportunity and support along the way. Like women are only just starting to be brought into the conversation, but they're trying to hold them to the same standard.
mm,
Like, okay, just you need to equality is so much more than just equal.
absolutely. And I even think I don't really worry about like men versus women because I'm surrounded by only women, like
mm,
mostly. So like
mm. Yeah,
in my industry largely as
yeah,
well. Like
yeah,
even though
same.
we have three boys working at the clinic, which is unheard of, but
Yeah, yeah, that is unheard of.
it is unheard of. We I just think like I can't do some of the stuff that the boys can do. Like I'm not as strong as some boys or whatever, but also they can't do stuff that we can do because
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
no idea what's going on around them most of the time, I feel.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they need
yeah,
us to interpret the world for them. So
yeah, exactly, exactly.
so I reckon that bracing our femininity is part of this process of moving forward. And
Mm,
I feel like, so think back to like uni days and that sort of stuff where there was like hard like feminism push and stuff.
mm.
And I was like interpreting, I was like, yeah, we're all the same. Like girls are the same as boys, but we're
Yeah,
not the same as boys. But I don't want
yeah,
to be the same as a boy. Like
yeah,
I would rather be a woman. Thank you.
yeah.
But like embracing women and femininity and stuff like that, and really truly understanding, like I didn't understand for such a long time how much my hormones impact me.
Oh my God,
What
same.
the helly? Like I know when I'm going to get my period because I start crying at Instagram reels.
Yeah.
Like
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how is that a thing that I
I
can like
know.
watch an Instagram reel on like last week, that if I watch it
Yeah.
this week, I'm crying.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
so on what planet were we not educated? Like we just, I remember like boys teasing us in school being like, whenever girls got rage, like boys being like,
Mm.
oh, I got your period. And I'd be like, shut up, my period doesn't affect me. Ah, like, so
Yeah.
I just would have really liked for women to have had the space to like teach us, like, you know, so
Uh-huh.
your hormones are going to impact you like in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ways. And so
Hugely.
here's how you can learn about it and whatever. Because if you just don't even know, so how much of my life did I spend having no idea that
Mm-hmm.
I was experiencing things differently because of my hormones?
I know.
What the
I
hell?
know. I have also only figured it out in my 30s, being like, which is wild because you have this same cycle every single month. Why did it take until my 30s to start recognizing the patterns? Being like, oh, like that's what's happening. Like it is crazy. And it's something that is on my it's a huge thing that it's in my plans for Elevarium to do education like around hormones in the context of like psychology and business and
I love
leadership,
that.
because it's not talked about enough. We're not educated on it enough.
Yes.
And also it affects you differently if you're a different neurotype as well, and that's also something that we're not educated on. And all these things affect how, not just how you lead and run a business, but the people that you are leading as
Yeah.
well. You know,
Yeah.
they are also affected by all these different things. So I feel so strongly about all of those things, and yeah, it really does impact things, and it should be in consciousness more because it gets kind of just glazed over
Yeah.
so much by us, but by other people as well. And it should actually be taken into account.
Well, because I distinctly remember feeling agitated, like as a young person, like a teenager, feeling agitated by boys telling me that I was like overreacting, crazy,
Mm-hmm.
like whatever, because you got your rags. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and because I guess like it's so like you're so that's so awkward, that sort of situation, like that conversation back
Yes.
then, like it was like mortifying, like back at
Yeah.
that age.
Because it's not talked about.
No, exactly. I feel like young women are so much more empowered now about that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would just be like dying, like, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
then just like livid. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, like, my hormones don't control me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
duh, like that.
Yes.
I
Yes.
remember thinking that and being so peeved off because even like in like younger relationships and stuff, being like, you know, partners being
Yeah.
like, oh, you freaking period, like that sort of shit. Be like,
Yeah.
I will burn this house to the ground, mate. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
shut
Yeah.
your mouth.
Yeah.
And I feel so like cheated almost that
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to be defensive of like,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't impact me. That's not impacting me because you're
Yeah.
making me feel crazy and invalidated.
Yes.
When really, if we had have been taught as young women, like, yeah, so the thing is, it does impact you. Like,
Yeah.
and like you said, like
Exactly.
bring it into consciousness so that we actually know about it. Because I feel so much more like I don't even get, I'm not even mad about my hormones now. Like
Mm.
I'm just like, oh, that's just a part of being a woman.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that's, and
Yeah.
if I can feel like now that I know about it, I feel like I can be better prepared
Yeah.
and like more mindful. So I will start like, I'll like cry at an Instagram reel and then I'm like, oh, okay. So you just need to be
Yeah.
mindful that you're a bit more emotional at the
Yeah.
moment. Like,
Exactly. You just accept it and acknowledge it.
yeah. And then I'm careful. Like I'll be careful with my reactions. Or if I do have a big feelings about something, I know I can check in with myself and go, So this just could be big feelings that are
Yeah.
related to your hormones, because remember how you were crying out the Instagram reels?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it could
Yeah.
be related to
Yes.
that. Like, and I feel like that just
Yeah.
gives me so much more time and space to go. And I don't get mad about it. And I would go, okay, well, I might not, I've got big feelings, but I might not react right now because
Yeah.
I'm just going to wait and see if I still
Yes.
feel like this
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
this thing or whatever. I just wish I knew
Exactly.
that. Like,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
what you just said, like wait, like, even in like, for example, the things you were saying just then, like it affects you in so many places. Like, for example, in relationships, especially like, you're with your partner or something. Like, I will feel so much better if I'm like, hey, just so you know, that's what's happening this week. Like, so probably don't tease me about things because I'll actually get upset about it. Like I can't take that this week. But then even in like, and I feel better acknowledging it, and then it kind of becomes haha.
Yeah.
But also in like business and leadership, if you're faced with like setbacks or challenging decisions or something like that, which you get more emotional about and it seems more challenging, it is important to be conscious of it and maybe not make any like reactive decisions in that moment and be like, I'm going to come back to this next week and still see if I still feel the same about it or something. So it doesn't mean that, doesn't make you any better or any worse as a leader, as some people would like to say that women are so emotional or something. It actually, it's just something that you acknowledge, accept, and you deal with in whatever that might be, if it's delaying making a decision or giving yourself grace as well. Like if it gets to 3 o'clock and I'm tired and in pain, I'm just clocking off. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and force myself through the next 2 or 3 hours or something.
Especially in roles like support roles, like psychology or whatever, like stuff like that, where,
Yes.
I mean, you just have to be so mindful of your
Yeah.
own stuff.
Yeah.
At the beginning, middle, and end of every day. You've got
Yeah.
to check in and be mindful of what you're bringing with you.
Yep.
And try and
Yep.
check it at the door,
Yeah.
like how can we do that if we're not aware? Like,
yeah, exactly.
how can you
I know.
possibly do that? Like,
Yeah.
and all just, frustrating. But I'm so glad that you're thinking about that stuff as well, because it's like, honestly,
Yeah.
I just can't believe that I
Yeah.
didn't know.
I know.
I think women as nurturers as well, I think it adds a piece to the puzzle. And like being, I know that's like a stereotype or whatever, but I think that generally speaking, like women as feminine women that are nurturers or whatever, is not offensive to say, probably impacts like management style too, and like business development and stuff like that. Not only because they're probably mums and they're busy as heck, but also trying to, because so one thing that's really tricky, I found really tricky, I know that you're going to agree with this even before I say it, is when you like hiring staff and then you invest your time and energy into them and then they go and work somewhere else or whatever, like leave their job or whatever, and you just get so like, it's so exhausting to have that process. Like I'm in this process, so I don't have a pet sitter. There has been times over the years when I have had someone and I've had more freedom and stuff, but I like the last one that I tried to get on board, like I spent so much time with, and then they just had life stuff pop up and couldn't be here, and I was like, I just don't think I have it in me. I just don't think I have it in me to start the process again, because it's just so exhausting. And I think as part of that, potentially that's impacts women as well, is that nurturing piece of like putting so much into people, like in and then I don't know whether you get something out of it or not, I don't know.
I think something that I'm really grateful for that becoming a psychologist taught me, and I still remember like learning about this at uni, it was in one of our summer subjects that we did, And I remember them just being like, it was something, probably the only practical thing they ever taught you during the actual undergrad, which was you have to separate yourself from your job, as in you can't take home with you what you have in sessions, because obviously it can be so emotionally draining. You have to really detach, and I became really good at that, and I think that helps in, and maybe it was because when I first started out in leadership, like I said, I had no empathy, like in a leadership context, just because of the previous leader that I'd inherited these bad habits. But you need to find this balance between nurturing, and obviously you have empathy, but you also need to be able to detach when you are kind of leading with people, working with people, where it's also a bit like having friendships at work, like you've got to be able to have those personal relationships with the professional boundaries as well. And that's hard because, and going back to also, we were kind of talking a bit about like people pleasing earlier as well. Like I definitely have some of those tendencies. I'm probably better at it now, but especially as a leader where you're like, oh, I kind of want them to like me as well, So you're balancing all these things of like the nurturing, the people pleasing, but also being able to be like have strict boundaries at the same time, like not letting people just walk all over you. So there's so much balancing that goes into it. And I think that that's where it's maybe an extra challenge for women, but also, it can also be an argument for why it's actually kind of better when I think it comes to like what I call human-centered leadership, which is a lot more like nurturing compared to fear, control, favoritism style, which is kind of like a tyrant. It's called autocratic leadership. So yeah, there's kind of so many layers to it, but it is really tricky to balance it all. But I think you got to lean into your feminine power, the powers that you have.
So what were those two types? Autocratic and person-centered, is that what you said?
So there's autocratic leadership, and then there is human-centered leadership, which the opposite of autocratic leadership is probably more like transformational leadership, which is far more like, at its most simplest form, autocratic is what people would refer to as like the hard leadership skills, like we are just pushing KPIs, performance, that kind of thing, real kind of control. Whereas transformational leadership is a lot more like uplifting, elevating, like inspiring people, rather than it's just a different form of leadership. But it depends what your objectives are, really. I teach obviously more of the transformational side of leadership.
So does that mean there are like sometimes like when like both of those can be
you can, there's
beneficial?
like yeah, so like I mean they're just kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum. There's lots kind of in between that as well, but you definitely apply different leadership styles as you need, but you can still be like a transformational leader and get the same results as you could as an autocratic leader. I mean, that's the whole point. But yeah, there are times where you do have to maybe step in and apply different leadership strategies. Like if you're performance managing someone, then you do have to get a little bit more micro and step in and manage things a bit closer. Like that's a different situation to just your everyday leadership of the people that you're trying to elevate, raise up, and also to follow you.
So how do people then like, what if people are listening and they're like, haven't identified issues with their own leadership style yet, but maybe they're like, as they're listening, thinking like, oh, maybe this is the first time that they're thinking about what the experience of their team is like for them.
Yeah.
And trying to identify like their leadership style and stuff. So this might be like all news.
Yeah, totally.
So how, I think it's good if we can say, make it a bit softer for people to hear like that there's multiple different types of leadership.
So many different types, and there is no wrong or right. You will always apply different leadership styles depending on the context that you're in. If you want to get like a bit of just an idea of finding out what kind of leadership style you are. There's honestly lots of online free kind of like little self-assessment things that you can do. And they usually separate them into about 4 different leadership styles. Like, just as a very basic starting point, go and find one of those. It would be called something like, what is my leadership style assessment, or something like that. But this is also something, so in the course that I've developed, I've designed a whole assessment that's embedded into the course to help people learn more about themselves, because we've talked a lot about like the inner work, but the next layer to that is self-awareness. The most effective leaders, and this is like repeatedly evidence-based, the most effective leaders are people who have greater self-awareness. And, you know, we probably all know a leader or a manager that we've had in the past who you're like, you have no self-awareness. And, you know, they're often the most challenging people to work with. So having greater self-awareness, learning more about yourself is so powerful when it comes to effective leadership. And yeah, there's so many different styles, and you do kind of step into different styles along the way, but you overall will adopt generally like a style. Like mine, like I said, is kind of transformational combined with coaching style leadership, which at its very core, or, you know, kind of basic, is instead of giving people the answer, even if I know the answer, it's actually getting them to come to the answer, and I'm kind of not even leading them to it. It's more about asking better questions than just being like, yeah, here's the answer. Because you're never going to learn if someone's just always giving you an answer. You know, you need to ask them questions to make them think critically about it. So, and that's coaching style.
And teach them how to answer their next question.
Yes, because they're going to be able to figure that out a lot easier next time, because they're actually going to know how to think about it. They're not just going to be having given an answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I like doing that too, but sometimes it doesn't land that well when I do it. So I think I've got to work on my delivery.
It took me so long to become a better coaching style leader, and, you know, my learning has never finished, so I'm certainly not perfect at it, but especially when I'm impatient and like I know in myself that I'm impatient. So if I know the answer, of course it's easier just to be like, oh, this is what you do. But I also know that there's no longevity in that. And so it took me a while. It takes practice and time. And sometimes I won't get to the answer, and that's fine. Like, then you can help them, but that maybe giving them more reasoning and context behind how you came to that answer. And slowly over time, they'll get better at it, and you'll also get better at it as well.
Yeah, I'm just like a bit like blunt, like with especially like, so this is like with our dog training clients, because to me it's just like it's a hard skill. So as in like it's mechanical combined with some like observation stuff, like reading your dog and stuff like that, and identifying patterns and all that sort of stuff. But I see it as like a mechanical skill. So I see it as like when I deliver like the questions to help people that they need to ask themselves to figure out why this is happening or what needs to happen next or whatever. But the experience of the person, like the client, is that that's their dog that they love more than most things on the planet. So it doesn't seem like mechanical to them, I feel, maybe. Whereas I'm just very like, this is just a skill that I'm just going to teach you, you know? Like, and there are situations where that is appropriate.
Yeah. Especially when it's a really novel skill like that as well. Like, you will literally need to point out to them, like, that is what this behavior here is showing you.
Yeah.
Because there's only, you know, there's only so much critical thinking they can do about that other than guessing. Yeah. So it's totally appropriate in certain situations.
What about like leadership styles? What do you do when, like, okay, so you've got your leadership style, but your staff or whoever it is that you're leading, could be anything, could be like even your kids, this could be like translate to parenting so easily, when they all need a different style. So this is the thing, like for some people, my style is like a perfect fit, like and then for some people it's like the exact opposite, like you know. So you got to try and be mindful of that and
Yeah.
figure out like we do with dogs, like train the dog in front of you, sort of thing, and be like a version of yourself that can try and fit this person. But then how do you know what that person needs?
Yeah. Well, in a leadership context, I guess you have the benefit of being able to work with that person consistently and more on like a long-term basis, I guess. And so in that situation, it really does come down to getting to know what that person needs, and every single person needs something different. That's kind of what I lightly touched on earlier as well. Even working with like, not just working with neurotypical people, you'll be working with people with different neurotypes. Like every single person will need something slightly different from you. You're always going to have your own overarching style, but being agile with what different people need. Some people need more input. Some people need you to be more hands off. But it really does come down to figuring that out. When you're in a situation where maybe you don't get to spend as much time with the people that you're working with, like in dog training, like you probably just meet people on that day and you already have to start figuring that out. That comes with it. Yeah, that comes with its own challenges, and it does come down to, and I mean, I feel like you do this already, but for everyone, you do just need to be switched on into, it's just like working with clients. It's like, what kind of style am I applying with this client? You're switched on to what they need, what their kind of preferred communication style is, but also just ask them as well, just or expectation set. Be like, this is generally my kind of style. I'm probably going to tell you to do this, this, and this. However, what's your way of working? Like, would you rather try and figure some things out for yourself, or would you rather me tell you? So it can come down to expectation setting, but also just being really transparent. And I don't think there's anyone who's not going to appreciate that, because most people will probably come into that situation maybe a little bit anxious, or like, oh, am I going to be good enough? Am I going to be able to do this? Or maybe they're going to come in really confident or something, and I think you find out so much information even just by having those conversations as well.
That's so true. I actually had a conversation with a client, and they were saying, this is a few months ago, it was like an initial appointment. They were like a teenager, and was saying they'd been through this process a few times before, etc. Saying, I don't like being told like what to do, or like I cannot remember the wording, but it was basically like, I don't like being challenged on things. So yeah, like if I don't want to like work on something or whatever, like that's, and I was like, no worries, like it's good to let me know that. So what that tells me though is that before your appointments, it's going to be really useful for you to like set your own goals for the session, because then I won't have to like try and drag goals out like the session. And that way then they're all the things that you are ready to work on, and all of the things that you are attending for. And they were like, oh.
I mean, I'm going to have to do some work.
But also I could clearly see I'm not doing that. And there is not one single thing I can think to put on that list right now, because I actually don't want to work on jack shit. Thank you very much. And they haven't been back. And I was like, so glad I had that conversation, because it went down like very similar to the way that you just described, where I was like, this is what this is, and and I'm so glad that happened, because there could have, no wonder we've been through this process a few times before. It's potentially the case that you don't want to be here at all. And so that's like an impossible scenario to put somebody else in and go, well, this isn't working for me. Well,
exactly.
That's because you don't want to be here at all. So I think it actually, when the conversation happened, I was like, I actually think that even just that conversation could have been really helpful. Like, even for like for the person to be like, actually,
there's so much information and kind of feedback and data just from that conversation. and if you hadn't had that conversation, you'd probably be flogging a dead horse in that. I'm still working with them.
And that's like how many people, even people listening, how many times we've been in situations like that when that's probably exactly the case, is that, you know, like these people just don't want to be here. Like, and we're working so hard. Like, those are the clients that I always feel like I'm working so hard.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All
Why
right.
even bother at that point? Because
why are we doing this?
Yeah.
So that's good advice to think about, you know, just having a much more open conversation with people about that, because I've been intending, I haven't actually started doing this much yet, but on asking my parents what their parenting style is.
Yeah.
What do you think the answer to that's going to be?
Asking your parents?
Asking the parents of all the kids that I work with.
Yes.
What's your parenting style?
Yeah.
Because I think that it's maybe something that doesn't get reflected on or thought about, or people don't get taught, like, that there are, and like all the stuff, that's what I was just saying before, like so much of the stuff that you're saying map so well onto parenting, because how do you parent if you don't know, like, that you're actually this type of leader? Because you're leading a child through life. Like,
I think about attachment in relation to leadership all the time, like the fear and favoritism thing. That's like the anxious, insecure attachment, you know, like you're so attached, but then you're so it's so volatile, you know. So totally, there's so many parallels.
So I think I'm gonna try and implement that in a way that's like not too big of a question. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
because,
definitely.
But it's so interesting to think about this stuff, and I just love this, like, you know, insight building and self-reflection stuff, and trying to understand. I really am trying to understand how other people experience me more and more, not because I want to change who I am, but just because I think it's important for me to understand what that's like for other people.
Absolutely. And I mentioned earlier that in the course I've designed this assessment for you to get insight on yourself, but there's also a version of it where they can give it to other people to do anonymously, so that you can get the feedback. Because I went back and studied an MBA. I didn't finish it because I got 3/4 of the way through and was like, I learned so much more on the job. However, during that, I was given a leadership assessment, like a leadership questionnaire or something, that I did myself, and then I gave to my team. And I got probably the most valuable feedback. And one of those things was I wasn't empathetic enough. I was like, okay. And so that's when I really started to change. That was like several years ago now. But that feedback was so powerful in how other people experience you. And like, I think that I'm so self-aware and I've got so much insight, but I'm also like, but what am I not self-aware about? You know, like that keeps me up at night. And so doing that kind of thing, if you can actually get that feedback from people through that kind of observation, it's really powerful if you're willing to accept the results and work on it.
Are the results provided to you in a gentle way?
Yeah. They're not like, you're terrible.
Our course feedback, it goes to Amy. And she reads it all and then puts together, like, she puts it together in documents.
Does she make it more gentle for you?
I think so. The joke I tell is that she set it up that way so that she could just delete all of the constructive criticism about her, which obviously must be what's happening. But she only does it, like, we do it periodically, so we don't have like a trickling of stuff, because it's hard. Like, like you were saying before, like I want to be a good fit for everyone, but I'm
Yeah.
absolutely not. So
Yeah, you can't.
you actually can't be. So that's why it's like great that I've got Amy, and like, yeah, it's just amazing. But yeah, so she takes it, and so periodically she'll do like a summary and stuff like that, and then she puts together, like, I get to see what people, like, she puts in what people have actually written, but she already has developed like a plan. So like for our constructive feedback, she'll help like start developing like a plan, or she, like, there'll be some things she's already actioned or like things like that.
Yeah.
So it's much more gentle by the time I get it. I don't have to like go through like a week of mourning of like,
Yeah.
everybody fucking hates me. So it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. Like your empathy, it's just too blunt. Like, just too blunt.
Yeah.
And I think like less so now, obviously, like less. I think I'm a better fit for a wider range of people after all of the work that I've done. But yeah, it's nice that she can go to, because that is not just like, and so what you're saying before about separating yourself from your job and all that sort of stuff, it's pretty hard. Like, it's pretty hard. And when you get feedback, it's like the comment section on whatever in social media. Like, you can have 1,000 good comments, and the one negative comment is the one that you'll be like, I've got to change everything about myself. Over that one negative comment. And I just think that's a slippery slope to fall down, because even when you're not a good fit for everyone, like there are people that are looking for someone just like you.
Yes. You know? Yeah, exactly.
So you can't like let that stuff, like going through that process of like getting the feedback and finding out like, what do people really think of you? That's terrifying. But yeah, maybe people can implement ways to do that sort of stuff, and like, figure out how to go through that in a safe way that doesn't like make you question your entire sense of self and feel like you have to change everything about yourself. Because I don't think that's the case. I don't think that people need to change everything about themselves if they've got some like constructive criticism or bad feedback or whatever, because there will be the parts of you that are in there that are just being impacted by like, I don't know, because I'm not a leadership person, but like one or two things. Could be habits, could be traits or whatever, that once you're aware of, oh my God, it's just, maybe you're just hormonal sometimes.
Exactly. It makes you reflective, but also there are pros and cons to everything. As in, there are some pros to you know, having less empathy or being blunt. You know, there's lots of pros to that. But so, you know, for example, in the way the results are delivered, it's that, you know, it kind of talks about that, like the, you know, the pros and cons of things you just got to be aware of or conscious of, but also what you can do, you know, like what are some things that maybe you might want to pay attention to. So but I feel like if you're going through a process like this, you're kind of open to that kind of feedback and things like that.
I mean,
but look, you're self-aware. Remember what I said? A self-aware person is the most effective type of leader. So at least you're aware of it.
What happens if it comes back and like yours is like one way and everyone's is completely different? You just find out that you're a narcissist or something. Like,
well, you get a lot of feedback. You get a lot of feedback. That was like me. Like I was like, I'm so empathetic, and then I was like, should be a little more empathetic.
I can't believe you thought you were empathetic.
I know, and I'm a psychologist as well. What? I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to be the most empathetic person.
Chelsea. No.
I know, but I separated myself a little bit too much.
Did someone at some stage tell you that you were empathetic, or did you just...
I mean, I'm a nice person, so I was like, I'm pretty empathetic, and, you know, I care a lot about people and things, but when I wanted results with something, I was like, get it done.
I think you care about people, and I think that you're a kind person. I think that sometimes probably like maybe like me, like sometimes just see things as like quite black and white, and the delivery lacks that like
Yes.
understand, like how is someone else hearing this? Because you just
Yeah.
think, well, I just need to give them this information. Like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and so then
I don't,
the other person's
yeah.
like freaking out.
Yeah. You've actually just sparked a memory for me. And you know how you were saying earlier that you made people cry? Those people cried in front of you.
It made
I
Amy
have
cry.
found, I'm sure you made other people cry.
Yes.
That I have been told in years gone by that like people who've been working with me for years or something, they'd be like, yeah, you scared me so much. Like I cried when I first like was working with you. I was like, what? I didn't know that. Like, so yeah, obviously, apparently I was a bit intimidating or something, but I've done a lot of personal growth. But that's a kind of thing that like, you know, I got so much feedback from people and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should be like, you know, adjusting a little bit. And now I'm pretty confident that I haven't made anyone cry in a long time. So I hope the current people I lead would agree with that.
Yeah, when's the last time you sent out that form? I mean,
Yeah, I know. True. I need to deliver another.
maybe you should do it annually at the Christmas party.
Just go around with an iPad and a Google form. Please fill this out. Especially after they've had a few drinks.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
The truth serum.
Then you've got it all there ready to start for your New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Every year,
yeah,
you know.
Totally.
Do you think that you received that feedback at the right time, too late, too early?
Probably the right time, to be honest. I feel like if I'd received it earlier, I mean, maybe I could have received it a little bit earlier because I was probably mature enough to receive it. But I feel like if I'd received it much earlier, I probably would have maybe ignored it a little bit more, just been like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. But I guess at the time, because I was studying leadership, like formally studying leadership, I was kind of very open to that kind of feedback. And honestly, it wasn't that shocking. Like, other than the fact that other than the fact that my results were different to theirs, I was like, oh, okay, like I can see why they would think that, because I can be a bit of a hard ass when I need to be. But I've learned to find a way to achieve the same results in, I don't really like the word softer, but just in a way that people might find more gentler than someone who is, you know, being a bit of a hard ass or something, which I was definitely more like when I first started out in leadership, because that's what you're taught. If you think about a traditional leader, it's someone who is like, get results. You're terrible if you don't get results. Like, and I was like in my mid 20s. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of growth, and it's a journey. But you know, now look at us, Sam.
Look at us go.
Look at us.
How do people know if they're ready, do you think?
I feel like if you're seeking feedback and you're willing to seek feedback, I feel like you're already closer to being ready than not being ready. If you're someone who feels like you're already trying to figure out so much, maybe that it isn't the right time for you. Like, you know, like, oh my God, I can't take much more. It depends. As in, like, if I think about myself when I was first starting out in leadership or trying to manage so many things, there were probably some more important things that needed to be dealt with first before I got that feedback.
Like maybe settle in, like if someone's just started a new job, like maybe give yourself a chance to just like settle in for a minute. Or if someone's just gone through a divorce, like maybe just chill out for a sec, babe. Like,
absolutely.
You know, maybe
I was
a good time.
I was a good 5 years into my figuring it out when I, you know, had that kind of feedback. So I was definitely in a position to receive it. But yeah, when you're like more high stress or you're already dealing with so much, that isn't probably the right time to be taking it on. So yeah, it really depends what the priorities are at the time.
Do you know if like on Instagram, I see what's the generation younger than us?
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Gen Z, sorry.
Gen Z.
That didn't sound right.
They are copping a flogging. And obviously, us millennials were the last good generation. And now Gen Z.
I was about to say, we're also copping a flogging, but we're copping it from Gen Z.
I know. And the boomers. But the but we're like Teflon. Like,
yeah.
have you been seeing all those reels lately where everyone's like reminiscing on the 90s and 2000s party days? I was like,
yeah,
gonna have to open up some of my old Facebook albums that are all archived.
Yeah.
Get some photos of Sammy and Chelsea on the town.
Yeah. Oh God,
Funny.
I need to archive. I've just
I own your image in thousands of photos.
Yeah.
So what about Gen Z? Because I think Gen Z's got a bum deal personally. Like I feel for them. But they were kind of raised a bit differently. So does that, how they were parented, impact like a generationally, like how they need to be, how they receive leadership? Like, there any information about that?
Yeah, how they receive leadership, and then also eventually how they lead as well. And like, I look forward to working with Gen Z because I mean, I already work with Gen Z a lot in, my business. We've got quite a few of them. And I mean, it's like anything though, that, every single person does need a slightly different leadership style. From my experience from leading Gen Z, they definitely are more receptive to that autonomy and, they want the freedom and the flexibility, and they do, but they've also got to earn it as well, and that's where your kind of boundaries and being a bit stricter comes in, because otherwise they can kind of rock up straight out of uni and be like, all right, I'm here. I want to be paid this amount of money and I want to do as little as possible.
Yeah.
And I think you need to, I mean, coming straight out of uni, you got so much to learn as we did.
Yeah.
And so setting those expectations really quickly is positive. In saying that though, I also feel so bad, especially in health, it's probably the same in other industries, that some of them come out of uni and go into these complex, demanding jobs, no freaking support, and they burn out so quickly. I see it in OT constantly, and I know it happens across all allied health.
It's the worst in OT.
Yeah, like because they can leave uni straight away, they can do NDIS work, but they're just not given the support. And because it's post-pandemic, so much of it is remote, there's not enough mentoring, they're just given complex cases straight away. So I really feel for them. And we have a lot of these OTs come and work at MLEA, the occupational therapy business, and we have really shaped our new grad program there, or early career program, which are all the Gen Zers, to be supportive and to help them. They've still got heaps of autonomy and freedom, and we really look after them, but you're almost taking these burnt out OTs and they're like into year 2 or 3 of their career. So the world is harsh to them when they leave uni, because of the world that we're in, which I think is hugely post-pandemic world. So lots of variables and factors to consider with them. And totally, I feel for them so much.
I think I've got a rough go.
Yeah.
And they just won't ever know what it was like to be as cool as us. Poor things.
I know. Clubbing culture is a dying breed, which
I know. I heard on the radio that they don't drink. I was like, of course they don't. Of course they don't.
They're so much better than us.
They wouldn't last. They wouldn't last a weekend, mate. Come on.
Oh yeah, they don't even wear high heels. That was real training.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Chelsea, tell us a bit about your course. We're going to have to wrap this up because it's my bedtime. So,
Yeah,
thanks to
of
your flipping
course.
time difference and flipping
I
London.
know, I know. Yeah, so the course, so it's in the final stages of development. So it's going to be available in the second half of this year. But if you do want to learn more about it, you can go to the website, which is elevarium.com. And yeah, the Instagram, which is Elevarium Official, and TikTok, which is Elevarium. We'll put all of this somewhere, show notes, etc.
Yep, sure.
But it really is for people who are, you don't have to be working in health. You know, it's for people who are leading people, but it's especially great for people who have gone into maybe business because you're good at your job, or you know the jobby piece that we were talking about earlier, where you really you know your job well, but leadership, it doesn't come naturally. And the course, we talked a lot about like the inner work side of things and developing your self-awareness, but it also focuses a lot on the outward aspect of leadership as well. So if you are leading a team, whether it's in your own business or somebody else's business, it's so powerful for aligning people. So I think one of the biggest challenges in business is getting everyone on the same page, working towards the same goal, people keeping themselves accountable and owning their work, because it is so hard as the leader. You're kind of managing so many different projects, like, and then you know you get 3 months down the track and you're like, wait, whatever happened to that? Like that kind of thing, where
Totally.
you need people to have that kind of self-leadership. And there is a whole framework built into the leadership course which teaches a really great strategy and framework like a method basically in how you can achieve that in any team by aligning everyone, getting everyone to have self leadership and accountability. But then it also talks about the growing conditions for humans. It is all about how to grow humans. And I say humans because it's not just the team, it's the team as a whole, it's the team as individuals within the team, but it's also yourself as well. All the evidence-based conditions based on psychological science, how you get the best out of people and grow people. So it's separated into 3 parts, like the inner work, the team alignment, and then, you know, those growing conditions to really like make everything thrive, both you and your team and everyone in the team. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. And I hope that people will, you know, get hits of value out of it. So yeah, you can, yeah, when you go onto the website, you can sign up to the wait list for it as well. So that is on there. So you can be kept up to date.
Honestly, it sounds amazing, Chelsea. Like, I don't think I've heard of anything like it on the market. Like,
yeah,
it really sounds like very special, right up my alley. I just love all of that, everything you just said. Is it, so it's online, so people can do it anywhere?
Yeah.
And like a self-paced kind of thing?
Yeah. I think I'm going to
structure it.
Working out the finer details. I think to get the most out of it, it's going to be structured over a few weeks, but it will ultimately be like an on-demand course with the option to also, you know, consult with me as well. If, you know, because again, it's catering to different people's styles. Some people like to do it totally self-paced, but some people like some extra support. So there'll be different options for those kind of things. But yeah, it'll be like recorded material, but there's also like a workbook that goes along with it, which is really what's going to help consolidate your learning and get reflective, build your insight. And like I said, there's a whole, basically like a psychometric assessment built into the course where you can find out all about yourself, your leadership style, and things that, you know, like the pros and cons to the different styles, how you can work on different things or what you might want to pay more attention to. And like I said earlier, like an observer radar assessment as well, where you can give it to people anonymously and they can give you feedback as well, whether you're ready to receive it, if you're ready to receive it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it should be really awesome. And I'm very excited for it to be available to the world.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me. We should do this again. This is fun.
We should do this again. We'll catch up. We should have we should have a little like a wine o'clock one or something. That's like a
Yeah. If anyone just wants to hear
Amy
like the tales of Chelsea and Sam, we got some tales.
Thanks so much for your time, Chels.
Thank you. And thank you for accommodating this ridiculous time difference. And I hope you have a good sleep.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you're interested in studying with us, but you have a few more questions before you get started, please get in touch with us by emailing info@therapydog.com.au or visiting our website, www.therapydog.com.au, for more information and our FAQs.